We are going to cross live to Abidjan, where Arise senior business correspondent Boason Omofaye is on ground to give us live updates on the African Development Bank Group's 2025 annual meetings. Today is D-Day, Election Day. How is it going, Mr. V? Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning in the studios. Good morning, Lagos. Yes, this is the election day. I'm sure everyone is interested in who succeeds Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, Nigerian-born president of this big DFI on the African continent. After it's done 10 years, it's exactly 10 years ago. I was here 10 years ago on the day of Dr. Adesina's election. It was a day, a very long day, as it were. Elections today starts at about 2 o'clock local time here in Côte d'Ivoire till 7 p.m. We hope by 7 p.m. local time, which will be 8 p.m. Nigerian time, we'll be able to come live to Lagos, again to Nigeria, to give a verdict from the Board of Governors and the shareholders of the AfDB as to who steps into the shoes of Dr. Akinwumi Adesina. Of course, there are 5 candidates in this race. Remember, yesterday evening, we spoke with Nigeria's Minister of Finance, Wale Edun. Nigeria is the largest shareholder of the AfDB, so Nigeria's votes really count as to who becomes the next president of the AfDB. So that's a very crunching day for today. Nigeria, the Minister of Finance, is the one representing the Federal Republic of Nigeria on the board of the AfDB. So that's very important to note. So among these 5 candidates, of course, there are lots of social media news about what they are going to offer, their vision, their mission, what they think the new direction or agenda should be for the DFI. The new leader of the AfDB, who's stepping in for the next 5 years, will have a lot of job on his or her hand. Of course, there is one female candidate among the 5 who is a South African official. So whoever becomes the next president will have to deal with the new global economic vulnerabilities that we face right now, crisis upon crisis, from geopolitical issues to the global trade war, tariff issues, the defunding of aid and other investments into Africa from the United States and Europe, including the United Kingdom. But Africa is getting still a number of countries that are interested. For example, India wants to increase its existing $10 billion project portfolio investment in Africa to another higher figure. Nigeria is here also looking to increase its own Nigeria-India Exim Bank funding from existing $200 million, perhaps about $500 million US. That took place yesterday. The DFI, the AfDB group itself, will have to look for new sources of fund. It has to look inward to mobilize capital from within the continent to fund those critical projects, the high 5, if you call it, housing, food security, energy, infrastructure, road, rail, everything that you need, logistics that the continent really need. Back to you in the studio.
Okay, very quickly. The voting power is based on weighted averages. Yeah. Nigeria has 9.33%, Egypt has 6.33%. But what I'm more interested in, what's your own prediction? What's the state of play? What are you hearing? How is the pendulum likely to swing? But you are absolutely right that the next AfDB president will have to face issues of defunding, particularly from the United States, which contributes a large amount of the resource for that bank. So what are you hearing? Where do you think the thing is going? How is Nigeria likely to vote? Have you been talking to the Nigerian delegation in terms of how Nigeria will vote?
Thank you, Dr. Abati. From the way things are, even before we arrived here in Côte d'Ivoire for the annual meetings, the word on the streets is that the candidacy is down to about 2 individuals out of 5. And of course, you can understand some of these issues. For example, United States under President Trump's got some face-off and issues with South Africa, for example. So Ms. Shabalala, who is the South African candidate, could have some challenges when it comes to getting votes. You remember, the United States is also a major investor and program funder for the AfDB. So that is a political issue that Shabalala will have to face with a candidate for this job. It looks like it's down to two individuals, the Zambian candidate, for example, and of course the candidate from Senegal and from Mauritania, just about three of them. So at the end of the day, Nigeria would have to look at who will be able to push the button forward. Nigeria wants to see a bigger, stronger AfDB. If you are the largest shareholder, whoever becomes the next president of this institution will be very crunching to you. So some of the things I got from yesterday's Rice Exclusive with the finance minister, Wale Edun, was that Nigeria will have to take very cautious step, not only about his vote, to ensure that it has the consensus, as it were, of a number of African or Nigerian friends, quote unquote, on the board of the AfDB, to ensure that the next candidate will be able to move the continent forward in a way that will take it even to greater heights, if you understand what I mean by that. So Nigeria will be taking his votes very cautiously, but I think from where we are this morning, before 2 o'clock in the afternoon, when they go into the final round of voting and discussing with the 5 candidates, it's down to 2 individuals, by the way. And the chances are looking very high for these 2 candidates, one the Zambian candidate and the other from Senegal.
Okay, good. So, Boason, I mean, it's great to talk to you. I have gotten a chance to interview most of these candidates, and I just want us to talk about the politics. The regional and non-regional partners. The regional partners, the African countries. The non-regional partners, countries like America, Canada, Luxembourg, the Saudis, and other countries that own shares in African Development Bank. And the role also that the Arabs want to play, the fact that there's an Arab resurgence, they feel that Arabs too should also take the day. So you have people like Sidi out there, the Mauritanian candidates. You have Sam, Zambian candidate. You've got Amadou Hott, the Senegalese candidate. How do you see the politics of the regional and non-regional partners playing? Because at least when I asked 3 of the candidates I interviewed, Shabalala, Amadou, and Sam, they all said, oh, we should think of how we can bring everybody together and not this dichotomy of regional and non-regional. But it does play a very great role. And the fact that the Arabs are mounting a big one, and I flag every. But in fact, for my feelers on ground, I hear the bodyguard CD came with, for instance, you know, the fact that all the candidates are heavily guarded and things like that. I mean, let's talk about the intricate politics.
Yeah, Rufai, you know, this is high stake. This is high stake politics. I'm sure you know that. This is high stake international politics. If you look at how 54 countries in Africa, even if you exclude the North African corridor, we can't even exclude it. If you look at the influence of France in Morocco, in Cote d'Ivoire, in DR Congo, in Senegal, for example, French-speaking Africa, and then you look at the Anglophone countries with Nigeria, Ghana, and a couple of others like Zambia and others. So this is down to a lot of African and international power play. So they are all interested in what happens here and who becomes the next president of the AfDB. It's a very big institution. It has a lot of influence on the continent and globally speaking. So whoever's leading this institution forward will have to do a lot of work. And on that basis, this is a very tough time. If you look at how Donald Trump, President Trump of the United States, is throwing the tariff wars around, shooting left, right, and center, there are a lot of scramble for Africa right now. I'm sure you know that Russia is interested in African resources, for example, whether it's from Burkina Faso, lithium, we're talking about energy in South Africa, Nigeria, the DR Congo. You've seen the political upheavals in part of West Africa, the Sahel, Mali, Burkina Faso, as well as a few other countries. So there are a lot of issues that politics is coming to play. So France will be much interested, London will be interested, Washington is interested, Brussels is interested as well for the Lusophone African countries, because whoever becomes the head of the AfDB will have to represent a lot of interest. So quite a lot of high stakes, but it's going to be a long day for us here in Cote d'Ivoire as we wait for the decision tonight.
In any case, it's obvious. It speaks for itself. The politics is given. You have 81 member states, all of them having different interests, competing interests. But whoever wins must get 50.1% of the votes. So everybody will push their agenda. But let's see how it plays out. Thank you.
Absolutely. Let's see how it plays out. Thank you so much, Boason and Omofaye.